Hey everybody and welcome! Today, we're going to be reviewing Magic the Gathering. And today, we're here with a Magic the Gathering expert, none other than RunePhantom on Twitch. Say hello, man.
Expert might be a bit much there, my guy, but I've been playing for a while. Anyway, what's good? I'm RunePhantom, part-time live streamer, full-time mess abouter, I guess.
Nice.
Anyway.
So, here's a question before we get started. What are your experiences with Magic the Gathering?
Oh, with Magic? Oh, extensive, man. I've been playing since I was a kid, basically. The game's as old as I am. It came out officially in 1993. The beta started in 92, but don't let anybody tell you it came out then because the beta was dog shit. Anyway, so my mom and dad, they used to play, like, real serious, like, back in the day.
Really?
And I picked up the interest because as a way to bond with them, and it's just kind of stuck with me ever since.
Nice.
These days I play EDH with my friends. That's Commander, basically, where you get a legendary card, and it's the one in charge of your whole, like, everything there. We can get into that later. But I like that format a lot more. It's got a lot more aspects to being social. So, like, I can sit down and just talk with my friends. And there's a little more room for, like, negotiation, you know?
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, today we're going to be going through 5 categories like we usually do. We have, of course, story, characters, music, design, and of course, gameplay. And actually, I've heard there's actually a story in Magic the Gathering. I actually did not know that.
Oh yeah, no, there's this whole extensive thing. So the story is basically this. You, the player, are what's called a Planeswalker. Basically,
Really?
you have the ability to move from plane to plane to plane and recruit soldiers and learn spells and all of that jazz so that you can go enter into the war of the Planeswalkers. And that started all the way back in the original set.
Wow.
So basically, for those who don't know, Magic the Gathering, your deck is called your library. It is your book of spells, monsters, summons, etc. that you are using to fight other players, other Planeswalkers. Considered as powerful than they are, and also for some reason we didn't get drafted into the War of the Spark, which was some other bullshit where one of the most infamous dragons in the game, Nicole Bolas, decides that he'd like to be God now, thank you very much, and goes out of his way to make it happen.
Oh,
he
God.
Almost wins. Almost.
Really?
But there was a dog shit third-party book that got, or not third-party, first-party book that got written wherein the power of friendship saves the day. I'm not shitting you. The book is dog shit, the set was fun though.
Wow.
But, one of my favorite, sorry.
Honestly, it sounds like from what you're explaining, it sounds awesome, actually. That
It
you're
really is.
I just think it's really cool that you were actually called a Planeswalker in the original game, and now there's actually cards called Planeswalkers now. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they do. We do the same thing they do. We're just more powerful and can have a lot more flexibility as far as our powers are concerned.
Ah, that makes sense.
Working on for about 10 years now. My abilities in this deck are limited to work with Nekazar's power. So here's his whole thing, and I'll go ahead and pop the card up on stream. Sorry for the reflection from the light in the background.
Oh, no
but
worries.
Nekazar the Mindraiser is a legendary zombie wizard. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Whenever an opponent draws one card, Nekazar the Mindraiser deals 1 damage to that player. So, my entire deck, much like you'd see, like, Saheeli the Planeswalker is limited to artifacts, my entire library is limited to ways to boost this power to make it more useful.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So, no, my favorite thing to do with this particular design is there's an effect in the game called Wheel. Basically, it's designed after a card from the 1993 release, Wheel of Fortune, which is every player discards their hand and draws 7 cards.
Okay.
That's 7 damage right there just from Nekazar.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
No, it builds up quick. But, so I've got a whole bunch of different stuff in here that's designed around accentuating that, much like you would see in Saheeli's, like, kit. So I've got a lot of ways to do card draw, a lot of ways to force discards and draws, a lot of stuff like that. So, like, you would say my -1 or whatever, like, I lose loyalty. Hey, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I don't mean to bogart.
Oh, no worries. But, actually, before we get started, what do you think your score is going to be? Of a score of 1 to 50, what do you think you're gonna be rating this card game. And remember, 1 or 0 is like just absolute shit, and all the way up to 50 is basically perfection.
Well, see, the question you're asking me there, man, this is the best game ever. It really... With that, there is... the fact that Magic doesn't have music to go with it kind of detracts that entire, like, section of your criteria you gave me.
True, but I have heard of video games that had soundtracks, actually, that are based on Magic the Gathering.
Enough, MTG Arena's not terrible. There's a couple of others, that have, but...
Actually, I do remember this one PC game when I was a kid. Darn it, I don't even remember. I don't remember the title, but I do remember it was like an RPG where you go around the entire land, collecting cards, trading them, battling for them, and your mission is to take down these 5 wizards who represent the 5 elements in the game, and then take down the final boss.
I feel like that definitely was a thing. I never played it personally.
Yeah, I think it was like years ago. I think like maybe 95, 96.
Yeah, that sounds about the right time for that. Maybe 97 at the latest. I can look into it, but pardon me, I'm not too terribly bum-rushed about that right this minute.
Oh yeah, true. I'm gonna give my score a 40, honestly. But yeah, all right. So, let's start off with story. And I gotta be honest, after what I've heard from RunePhantom, I actually think the story's pretty freaking cool. It's more creative than I originally thought it was gonna be.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you. The story for Magic the Gathering is long, it is dramatic, it is intense, and it's just really cool. There are just some parts that are not super solid, so this is one of those ones where I detract just a little bit. I'd say story sits at like an 8 or a 9.
Ooh, okay.
But there's just so much lore, man. Like, not all of it's gonna be gold.
That is true. And honestly, though, but from a brief description of the story, it sounds like something you could really get yourself into. And personally, for me, who I've played card games all the way from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, I actually did really enjoy the story from its perspectives and how each character has their own backstory and actually makes them feel more real in this case.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like I said, the only reason I'm detracting is that some of the lore is bad. Like, there's a lot of third-party fiction that's technically canon within the last, I want to say, 5-10 years, because that's largely a cash grab from WotC is what it feels like.
Okay, that makes sense, actually, yeah. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to give it a score of an 8 as well. Sorry, no worries. I'm also going to give it an 8 as well, personally. I don't know all of the lore at this point, but I am getting a good brief description of the overall story, which is pretty good in my own right.
Oh yeah, no, it's some crazy stuff. Right now, the lore is talking about going to a wizard school a la Harry Potter, except much more intense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the new set is Strixhaven, and it's really fun.
Oh man, that sounds cool. I think the only story I've ever really heard from that particular series was the Arabian Nights era, if I remember. And that was the last time
that's like 3rd or 4th release.
Yeah, I don't remember anything else past that, though. That's the problem.
I feel like that's like 96, 97 that release dropped, so that's a lot of lore you've missed out on.
Yeah, I was really busy with doing other stuff at the time. I was doing sports and all that, but I did play once in a while in Magic at one point, but not as much as many other kids would be.
You kids, you say as though you're so much older than me.
I'm actually around the same age as you. I was born in 93. I feel old when I play this game. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what the hell have I been doing?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way whenever I go and sit down and play the original Doom.
Yeah, the original Doom, I'm like, oh my god, why?
But it's still fun, man.
Oh yeah, games like Magic the Gathering and Doom just don't get old.
Oh, they really don't. Especially, well, Magic would have if the constant releases weren't happening. But, you know, I feel like a huge part of it, too, is the social aspect. So, See, really, when I sit, and this is going back to the whole story thing briefly, anytime I sit down with my friends, I make a role, like a little story out of it. It's not necessarily like something that I share with the table. I mean, I play D&D with the fuckers, so it's probably not a huge deal. Up a little, like, reason why all of these monsters are fighting and shit. It's so much fun.
Nice. I really should start trying that more often. Yeah, because, honestly...
It's a great writing exercise.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that out. Alright, so... But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give it an 8 personally, because so far it seems like, well, according to Rune, I have missed a lot in the last several... I missed almost over 2 decades worth of information. Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so now we're going to go into characters. Okay, before we get started, I am willing to say one thing. How the heck did Negan from Walking Dead get into the Magic the Gathering universe?
Excuse me, what? Hang on, I gotta fact check that.
There is apparently a Magic the Gathering card that it has Negan, and he is now part of the Magic the Gathering lore for some random reason. Like him being in Tekken wasn't enough. It's a recent release.
Yeah, no, so hard same. I love them.
Yeah, and actually, if you use the promo code, I think Retroactive, you actually get 10% off of all your purchases. But personally, though, the reason why is that I actually saw that on the shelf in their store. I was like, wait a minute, is that Negan for Walking?
It's not just Negan. Looked like Daryl's a planeswalker.
What?
The upkeep, an opponent controls dies, draw a card. Like, real?
Yes, that's real, and they were even
double checking the like. Oh wow! Oh my god! I think I have a new commander deck. I've got to.
Okay, Walking. Oh my. Still, all right. We already. Yeah, that was. I already knew Negan was in, but I didn't even think Daryl was in it. What?
Yeah, Daryl and Rick. Hang on, let me go back here.
You gotta be kidding me. There is no way in hell that should be real.
Michonne? Yeah, Michonne's in.
What?
Lucille, Negan's bat.
Okay, I need to go to a store and buy the Walking Dead deck or something.
What the fuck is this? A Sweeney Todd card? Is this real?
What? There's even Sweeney Todd from... Really?
I don't know if this is real. Because there's no set marker here.
Oh.
So I don't think that's real. But there is a set marker for Michonne. This looks like it's going to come out in Modern Horizons too.
Oh my god. What's next? Every horror movie villain in existence showing up now? Actually, now that I think about it, that actually might be pretty cool.
Just a bit.
Yeah, because
there's actually an entire like Reddit post about it.
Really? A Reddit post of having horror movie villains?
Oh, this is... Oh, no, that got... No, I'm sorry, about Negan. That was from 8 months ago.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, honestly, I think that'd be pretty cool, but we'll have to get to that in a minute, right later in the episode. But honestly, after hearing that, what would you rate the characters?
I mean... Again, it really depends because there are so many. Like there's I don't even know how big the actual like Magic the Gathering library is, but I will tell you, I'm a big fan of my characters. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
Like I like running AC the Sea, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait. I like playing with Nekuzar the Mindraiser. I like playing with Saheeli the Divine Architect, or not Divine Architect. I think this one's Saheeli the Gifted. Let me double check. Yeah, this is Saheeli the Gifted here. But yeah, no, I like the characters get their characterization like from the books and from their flavor text and stuff. So it's difficult to rate them on like that level. But I mean, as long as they're fun to play with, who cares, right?
True, and I just found out from the Google search that there are over 20,000 different Magic cards.
Not shocking.
My God. Talk about one hell of a selection there. So,
oh yeah.
So yeah, that's really tough. Honestly, I thought they were pretty cool designs and unique attributes. I think that was pretty cool for each of the cards. But now that I've seen Negan and now apparently Daryl is now part of it, I I gotta be honest, I may have to make my score a little higher now. Though
This is another one. Sorry.
Though I have to admit, I would love to see how they do explain that in the lore. How the Walking Dead cast somehow gotten themselves into the game.
Yeah, because they're not planeswalkers.
Yeah.
I did a search and I was like, Magic the Gathering, Walking Dead, what the hell? And no answers.
Damn. So far, no one knows.
Yeah. This is another one where I knock like 1 point off just because there's so many that it's impossible to accurately gauge.
True.
But from my personal experience, there's only a couple of cards that I don't like using. So, you know, I'd say the majority of them are well designed.
Alright, so what would you score from 1 to 10?
About a 9.
A 9? Yeah, I'm going to be the same as you in this case. I've got to give it a 9 because, good lord. Alright, now we're going to go on to music, and I know that does seem like something that would be pretty much a 0 right off the bat, but I'm thinking, what music would go very well with Magic the Gathering, and maybe we could try that out and see how that works, because, honestly, I have a couple of theme songs and tracks that would work very well, but again, it really does depend on the certain situation.
Right. No, I totally see what you're trying to do there. This is another one of those it depends kinds of things, though, because depending on the kind of creatures that you're playing with, a different soundtrack might work so much more wonderfully.
True.
Like, my immediate thought was, like, the Harry Potter soundtrack, because that would go perfectly with the new set.
Oh, yeah.
But then I've got, like, one of my decks here, the one I'm tapping with my pen, is, it's just straight-up sea monsters. Harry Potter doesn't go well with sea monsters.
True.
So I don't think there's any one thing that that could actually, like,
I
go
think
well with the game,
Ooh.
except for, oh, shoot. Why can't I remember their name? One sec, I gotta look something up.
Actually, the Sea Monsters one, I would say if you're more for the horror genre, I'd go with the Jaws theme.
See, I was thinking that too, but they're kind of like like, you know those Japanese river monsters?
Oh, so I think maybe Godzilla would be better.
Maybe.
Yeah, because Godzilla's theme song would, I think, fit with the Japanese-style monsters, especially since Godzilla's been around since the 80s.
Yeah, longer than that. Godzilla's been around since, like, the late 50s.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And I think King Kong's been around since, like, 1920.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, I think one of my friends actually built an elven, human, and dwarf deck and actually plays the Lord of the Rings battle theme during his game.
Perfect.
I'm like,
sorry, there's
good lord, that fits
Blackmore's
so
Night,
well.
that's who I was thinking of. Blackmore's Night is always a good fit.
Oh yeah, that's a good fit. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, honestly, it really does depend on the music selection there, folks. So for once, I'm actually going to give it a 5, mainly because there's a variety of songs that could very much well work with those cards or with your deck, but sometimes they don't necessarily work well with others. So it depends on the situation. So I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah, no, this one, I'm still gonna do the straight-up 0 just because Magic doesn't really have any of its own music. Like, I'm certain that the writers and developers have songs they listen to make development, like, go for them, which would be cool to hear, but there's nothing like that as far as I know, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Alright, so now we're gonna go on to design. And I'm just gonna be straight up with you. The design of most of the modern cards nowadays are on a whole nother scale compared to they were back then.
Oh yeah. Well, even still, cards from back then have a whole lot of potential to them. Hang on, I'm gonna pull out one of my personal favorite cards from the late 90s. Ooh. I'll be just a minute here. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Demonic Tutor.
Demonic Tutor? Uh-oh.
I may search my deck for one card and take it into my hand. So, let me get this in a place where the ring light's not going to be as much of a bitch.
No worries.
I really like the old art for Demonic Tutor. I think this art is sick. Now, this is a reprint of the original art, but it's still so cool. It's held up to this day.
All right, let me see if I can look it up, because honestly, it's pretty interesting. So you're saying it's called Demonic Tutor, right?
Yep, Demonic Tutor. This should be the second, or like from, not the first release, but this is from Magic the Gathering 2nd, basically.
All right, so 1994. There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, and all right, so it's not good.
It should be like a red horned demon with a
Yep, I found
with
it.
a book.
Let me just let me find a better picture, one that can actually let me go for like a close up or something. There we go. Yeah, right. This is it. Search your library. Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I actually like the design. It almost feels like something that comes out of like a graphic novel.
Oh yeah. No, and like you were saying, the designs are like blow a lot of the older cards out of the water these days. But there are some that hold up still.
True.
Although inversely, one of my newer favorite cards that I've seen, and this isn't brand new, but it's newer, is Reforged the Soul. So this is one of my Wheel of Fortune effects. But I just really
Here we go. Oh wow!
Where the hell did I put it?
Wow!
Yeah,
Look at the
it's
design
got that,
on this.
Ifrit that's just kind of bursting into flame.
That is really freaking cool. I like the.
Oh,
yeah, they really have gotten better.
I love these cards. I love a lot of these designs.
A
solid 10 out of 10 from me. My other favorite cards.
Let me see. What's another one I have in here that might be a good one? Oh, here's one. Valakut Invoker. He almost kind of reminds me of a Doctor Strange in a way.
A little bit, yeah. So, while he was doing that, I went and found one of my other personal favorites, which is the Inkwell Leviathan, which is, this guy. I really like that it looks like this impossible mass of steel and God knows what else. And its whole thing is, it is a 7/11 with Trample, Island Walk, and Shroud.
Wow.
And it looks like the kind of monster that would have Shroud. And then for those who don't know, Shroud just means, like, you can't cast spells on this creature. Nobody can.
Yeah, the only way to destroy it is if you... Then there's also the... Like, he literally looks like something out of H.R. Geiger's Nightmare.
Oh, yeah. No, a lot of... Especially the cards in black, which that one sounds like it is, are horrendous. And I love them. Yeah, so... I'm gonna be with RunePhantom here. I'm gonna give it a straight up 10 because, good God, this is... Wow. Unbelievable. I'm with you on that one. 10 now, there
for me.
Was some controversy about the art recently.
Really?
But this one does not basically...
Yeah.
And this guy that Wizards of the Coast pulled it as his own. Guy got fired and we're still not sure how...
For some reason. Alright. Now we're going on to gameplay. And I think this is going to be...
No two decks are the same. Unless, you've built exactly the same deck as somebody else. But that's a mirror match and that's something different. But no, there's so much variety, there's so much, and it's so much fun. Spam deck, I've got tiles out of that collection of 300. Like, the possibilities are basically endless.
Definitely.
So, like he said, solid 10.
What type of strategies have you seen during your time?
Well, it's as interchangeable as the cards themselves. I mean, shoot, I've got anything, and it's just, some are fun, some aren't, and it's just kind of how it goes with every game, I think.
True. Yeah, because I think I remember one deck, one of my buddies let me borrow, and that particular deck I was really good with. It was Defender.
Defender decks are fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just a massive wall.
Not to mention, there's this one particular card that basically turns their defense into their attack, and you could just wail on your opponent as many times as you want with it. They're just as much offensive as defensive.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm working on a 4th deck right now, and the commander of that deck says anytime a counter is created, you would add that many counters plus 1. So, like, his whole thing right now is he's got a few different win conditions, but primarily what he does is he helps Darksteel Reactor get to 20 counters very quickly, and Darksteel Reactor says, if Darksteel Reactor has, put 1 charge counter on Darksteel Reactor at each of your upkeeps. Once Darksteel Reactor reaches 20 counters, you win the game.
Wow. That's just...
It's also indestructible because of Starksteel.
Damn. Remind me never to piss that deck off.
Oh, it's not about whether or not you piss the deck off. That's just it's one of its win cons. It's got 3 built in right now, and they're all very fun and can be difficult to counter if you don't know what to expect.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Let me see. I know there's another deck that mainly dealt with being able to drain your opponent's health and add it to your own.
Oh yeah, that's called a Lifelink Deck, and they are very common, and I love them all because they are delightful.
Yeah, from what I remember, because I think one of my cousins actually had one of those before, or I think it was one of my friends. Considering the options, I originally thought he was gonna, do his usual shtick here and there with combo attacks and whatever, but instead he was draining my health and adding to his own. I'm like, how is he doing this? And then when I found out what it was called, I'm like, okay. And he had to explain the whole thing to me, but it was truly amazing that and that was the first time I really saw the complexity of this game that could still be easy enough to learn.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of my favorite things about it is just how many interchangeable pieces there are and how they all interact with each other. For just as a different example, there, my kid sister's got a dinosaur deck. Now
Really?
She's got what the community refers to as an infinite combo in her dinosaur deck.
Uh-oh.
So what she's got is she's got a card that says, whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may deal 1 damage to all creatures.
Uh-huh.
Or, sorry, each other creature.
Alright.
Now, the thing with that is that she has another card in the deck called Polyraptor. And Polyraptor says, whenever this card is dealt damage, create a copy of Polyraptor.
Oh.
So, what happens is, you get a dinosaur. The thing deals 1 damage to everything. You get a dinosaur. It does 1 damage to everything.
Oh my God.
Infinitely, until everybody else's walls are dead, and you've got all of the Polyraptors you could ever need.
Good Lord!
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm personally of the opinion that infinite combos are exploits and are therefore not fun.
True.
So I don't use them.
Yeah,
But, I mean, that's my personal opinion. They are actually fairly common in competitive, what's called CDH, which is competitive EDH.
Mm-hmm.
But those decks are like $2,000 worth of fine-tuned, so...
Ooh, wow. So, yeah, if you guys are going to go into Magic the Gathering, make sure you have a good amount of money or you have a really good job. Because...
Not necessarily. So, I've got a couple of decks here. This one was $30. Just
really?
Start to finish, because I bought the pre-constructed deck. Yeah, no, you can get a pre-constructed deck super cheap, like $20-$30 depending on the game shop you go to.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, this one here actually came from Dragon Parlor. Fucking love those guys.
Nice.
But, like, this one was a birthday gift, and this one cost about $100. Nekuzar is currently sitting at about $120. The deck that I've built with the charge one that I was just talking about, that deck's only gonna run me $150. So I mean, it's not so expensive as to be prohibitive. I mean, shoot, a standard deck costs half that. So like, if you get yourself into the standard format, which is 60 cards flat, no worrying about like any extra rules, that's usually like $10-15 to get started.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, honestly, if you guys want to, I say go for it. It's really fun, and there are a lot of players who play. But yeah, basically, there we go.
Yeah, my connection got knackered for half a second there. Anyway, did you hear any of what I said?
Oh, yes, I did, yes.
Okay.
Still, though, I have to admit, though, for what it's worth, what type of advice would you give for new players who want to get started in Magic the Gathering?
Buy a pre-construct commander deck, sit down with your friends, and learn the rules. It's a lot less complicated than it sounds, and commander decks are really cool because they're formatted and structured all the same. So basically what that means is that when your opponent sits down and pulls out, say, Nekuzar the Mindraiser, you know that every card in my deck is going to be red, blue, or black.
Okay.
And that's... It helps to learn your color identities, it helps to learn converted mana costs, it helps to learn just about everything that the game has to offer. So, I mean, just sit down and play. The pre-con decks are fairly cheap. If you're feeling fancy, buy yourself some sleeves. They make shuffling a bit easier. Have fun. Really, that's the big deal at the end of the day, is just have fun.
True. All right, now, we've just made up the totals. And RunePhantom, your original score you gave it was a 45. Your new score is 37.
That makes sense. I would have been closer if I hadn't had put music at 0, but I mean, there's really no actual music for me to judge.
That's true. My original score was 40, and now it just rose up to 42.
I'm glad I could influence you.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna start trying to practice more Magic the Gathering now. Okay.
You know, speaking of, if you have yourself a commander deck, anything like that, those 100-card decks we've been talking about, I was gonna suggest we play around on cam.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I have 100 cards though, but I think I have at least enough that I could try it. I think.
Oh no, this is formatted very specifically there, my guy. You have to have a deck specifically built for it.
Oh. Oh, well
Yep. So, I'm getting the impression that as far as this particular card game is concerned, you're only really just getting back into it. Is that right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly recommend next time you're down at Dragon Parlor snagging one of the pre-constructed commander decks for Strixhaven, because they're really good. In particular, the red-blue one is a lot of fun because I
think I might have...
I do personally wholeheartedly recommend... Sorry.
I actually think I might have enough for a game one of these days. Yeah, I think I actually do have enough.
Days. But for this particular format, it's going to be best if you get yourself one of the pre-constructed ones, or there's actually a few different ways you can build your own. My personal favorite is there's this website called Architect. It's spelled like architect, but with deck instead of tect.
Yeah.
So, but it's a real good resource for just putting together a new deck. Heck, I'll even go ahead and send you a link to my charge counter deck, because why not?
Nice. Thanks, man. All right.
Hey,
now,
no problem.
right after we do the review, it is called Retroevolution, where we basically talk about that if we were given the option, like if we were a game designer or a director of a movie or whatever, and if we were given a chance to change the game, what would we change about it and why? So, this is the question I'm asking for you. If you were the game developer who made Magic the Gathering, what would you change about the game and why?
I believe I mentioned this earlier, but I don't like the concept of infinite combos. Now, 20,000 cards, it's really difficult to bug test that, but if it were me, I would want to start putting out errata that got rid of a lot of those, because those just aren't fun. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of strategy to them. If somebody messes up your infinite combo, I mean, either you're done with the game or you've got another one set up, and that's just... I don't like losing to them. I don't like playing them. I just don't like infinites at all.
Yeah, I think I would definitely go with him on this one, because I feel like I've actually gotten hit by a couple of infinite combos once before, and it was just absolutely annoying. More for how long it took them.
Exactly. That's my big problem. A lot of infinites are just really lengthy, and here's my stance. If you've won the game, just tell me so we can just get to the next one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend 20 minutes sitting there while you take your damn turn telling me each and every step of how you're going to beat me. Just tell me you won.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm with him on this one. It's better off you just tell me you won, and then we could just get on to the next game. That's actually kind of one of the reasons why my game doesn't have infinite combos. Thank God.
No, and that's actually I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in a good long time, but I did remember that it was actually fairly sleekly designed as far as mechanics were concerned.
True.
Like, it was pretty much it was pretty bare bones as far as actual mechanics, and a lot of the weird stuff would come from the cards themselves.
Yeah. So, all right. Okay, I actually did go around town, and I was... Oh, well, I just dropped all my D&D sheets.
Oh, no!
No. But yeah, I'll pick that up later. But we actually got some questions from some people around who wanted to ask questions about Magic the Gathering and our own personal opinions on some of the stuff. Here's our first question. Question number 1 was, if you had a chance to create your own card, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
That's a really tough one, honestly. It's really interesting.
It's actually not that tough for me because a recent concept just got introduced in Strixhaven that I really like. Mm-hmm. So there are new token creatures called Inklings. Now, you probably didn't know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fountain pen fetishist. Uh-huh. I've got 4 of them sitting on my desk right now. I've got this one in my hand, and I love ink. I love pens. I think they're neat. And I would like to create a new artifact card that's titled something silly like Inkling Inkwell or something like that.
Oh.
And it's just a little jar of ink that, at your upkeep, creates a 1/1 flying Inkling.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't have to, like, and I wouldn't really want it to do anything more specific than that. Like, I'd want it to be, like, exactly that. Because I just think that the Inklings are cute and fun, and I would love more excuses to see them on the board. And also, there are cards that do things with some of the Inklings, which is also fun.
Nice. I think if I were to be given a chance to create my own Magic the Gathering card, I think I would try to make something more on the lines of more like steampunk. So like something with
actually, there was
like I'm trying to think. Like its ability would be mainly it has the ability to cut its attack in half or its attack and defense in half if it were to die, and you can bring it back only once, and then after that it's completely destroyed and you can't bring it back. Almost like it's being destroyed every single time, and then it's almost like it gets weaker and weaker over time.
I like that. So I can actually picture exactly how the text on that card would read. So it would be something along the lines of, this creature, when this creature would be destroyed, instead reduce power toughness by half. Activate this ability only once per game.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how it would go. And I think the design would be more, I think, something similar to, let me see. Almost like having a steam-powered machine gun on one arm and the robotic hand on another.
I can see that.
Yeah, and then there would be a person actually wearing it.
Yeah, I think for that particular kind of card, what I would do is I would make that like a 3-cost artifact that's like a 2/2 or maybe a 3/2.
Mm-hmm.
So it costs 2 mana to play it, and then it's an artifact that's got like 3 power, 2 toughness.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'd want to do 4 power, 2 toughness.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, because since it does get cut in half, it makes sense that the toughness would be a lot weaker on it. But its offensive capabilities would be far higher. So it's almost like a glass cannon.
Just a bit.
Yeah, so it's not overpowered, but at the same time, it can still be useful.
Oh, yeah. No, like a card like that would survive a board wipe and leave you with them as the most powerful player on the board.
Pretty much, yeah. It would actually make board wipes completely useless with with a type of card like that. And all steampunk cards would be similarly in that one.
Yeah, no, if we're talking like a new ability like that I could get behind that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another question, and oh wow, this actually is for you, RunePhantom.
Me specifically, huh?
Yep.
I feel special.
Yep. This question asks, Dear RunePhantom, I know that I've seen some of your streams before, big fan, one of your followers. I wanted to ask, if you were given a chance to come up with a type of deck type that would be yours and yours alone, what type of combination would you go for, and why?
Well, apparently I've already done that, because the deck that I sent you here via the chat, the charge token deck, nobody plays charge tokens.
Really?
I don't know why. They do some really cool, really interesting things. Like, there are cards in that deck that I've sent you that allow me to take another turn at the end of my turn if I've removed 3 charge counters from an item on there. And since my commander says whenever I would create a counter, create that many +1, it's just, I'm frequently getting that second turn. I'm frequently getting to the win cons in there. And I just don't get why people play that.
Yeah,
so
that is
I'm really excited to do that.
All right.
There is another deck type that I'm working on, though, that is fairly on brand for me, because I am well known in my group of friends as not being very good at threat evaluation. I don't do board politics very well, which is okay by and large because my decks don't require them. But I mean, some decks do require a good sense of, like, pardon me, who you're talking to and who you're playing with, and like how well you might be able to cajole them into not attacking you for a turn, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a deck that I'm building based around the fact that I am terrible at that, and it's called a Chaos deck. Ooh. And its entire purpose is to mess with the board state.
Oh, nice.
It has no win conditions built in. It's just there to screw around. Its entire purpose is to take your creatures and give them to Ben. Take Ben's creatures and give them to Kim. Take Kim's creatures and give them to me. Oh, and it's so stupid. Nice. But I'd say that one's probably going to wind up being a signature for me. It's just going to be a meme deck that I'll only ever play like once every couple weeks, but... Nice.
Oh man. Okay, now I'm really excited to maybe get back into the game. Let me see. We have another question, and this one is actually kind of interesting. In Magic the Gathering, is there a morality system that's close to D&D, or is that mainly just with the player themselves?
In Magic, all things are fair as long as you are not cheating. So, no, there isn't really an alignment system. I personally... Oh, shoot. I gotta interrupt for just a sec. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. No worries. Well, to answer your question from my perspective, no, I don't think there really is. But if at all possible, I think that the option is pretty unique. I think it'd be a great idea to have a morality system in the game, because then, in a way, you could get buffs or debuffs depending on what you go for. Like certain elements go with one particular side than the other. Like, planes would get a significant boost if you're on the good alignment, and if you're on the evil alignment, swamps get an increased boost as well. Same goes with mountains and, of course, seas. And I think the forests would be the one that would be right in the middle, because in a way, that one would be almost like an essential middle ground, where it doesn't gain any bonuses or take away any bonuses. So, definitely help. I think that would be pretty interesting. But that's a gameplay mechanic I would try to add to it, personally. Other than that, though, yeah. But yeah, when it comes down to it, morality systems, I think, should mainly stick with RPGs, because they not only work better, but they're just more efficient that way. And I think that's the reason why it's still considered very much a signature of RPGs nowadays, like with games like Mass Effect, which you guys have already seen me do on the stream, and games like Dragon Quest, and all those things, including Chrono Trigger. So there is stuff like that that shows that it works there very well, but it really does depend on the situation for that one. But yeah, one interesting question though, considering the options. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me see. We also have a question from well, I'm not gonna say his name because, good lord, it's really hard to pronounce. But he asks, what would be your personal favorite card out of all the tough one? Give me a second. I need to look through my cards here, because there is a couple I actually do like, not for their abilities, but mainly for the design of the... Makes me feel like I'm almost like a version of a mixture of a vampire with a dragon. I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention, it almost kind of reminds me of something that you would see in Lord of the Rings, personally. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting cards out there that I would honestly say are pretty freaking cool. I still like it. And not only that, the look of the plains, islands, forests, and all that They're also really interesting design. I like this one right here. Almost kind of reminds me of almost like a hive mind situation there. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward in that one. Yeah, that's how I would normally see it. But for what it personally is, there's a lot to look forward to in stuff like that. Okay, here's another question. And this question comes from I'll just call you Max because, good lord, your name is confusing. I'm not saying that it's a bad name, it's just that I can barely read it. So he asks, what would be personally your, if you were given a chance to create a new element in Magic the Gathering, what would it be and why? And that's really hard, honestly. I think the 5 that they have is good enough. But I think it would be interesting to see something. It would be interesting to see how that would turn out. And I also noticed that each one of the elements is based off a terrain. Swamp, forest. I think if you are going to... Oh, hey, how you doing, man? Here's a question. Another question for you, and it's, if you were given an option to create your own, say, plains, island, and all that, what would you create, and what would be the type of creatures would you create, or spells would you create for that particular landscape, basically?
If I could create my own plane, huh?
Yeah, basically like plains,
that's actually going to be a hard one, because there are so many.
Yeah, I think...
are you talking like my own land, or are you talking my
your
own plane?
Land.
Because
your own land.
Plane is like the world of Dominaria versus...
That's actually the next question, but we'll talk about lands first.
I mean, if it were me, I would bring back dual lands. I miss them. They were very good.
They did bring them back.
What a dual land is it's a land that's 2 colors at once.
Yeah, I remember.
No, they're not back.
They're not back?
Well, no. Because dual lands are specifically referring to Volcanic Island, Savannah. These cards tapped for 2 colors and had no drawback.
Oh.
Yeah, no, a lot of modern dual lands, they function by saying this card comes into play tapped, or this card comes into when this card enters into the battlefield, return another land to your hand. Stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I guess if I were to create one, I would actually create city as a type of land. And the reason why I would create city is that, and the monsters that would be in it would be more of the modern style, like vehicles, soldiers, that sort of stuff. But, however, they may be numerous in number, but they are very weak creatures. But they also have unique abilities that can help protect them from certain spells or something. But again, that's how I would try to create a land, personally.
Now, if we're talking about messing with the 5 colors itself, I'm actually pretty okay with those as they are and would not want to mess with them.
True
but
enough.
I do like the idea of tons of tiny monsters. I think if you're interested in that as a concept, an artifact spam deck or a sapperling deck would work well for you.
Ooh, that sounds good. All right.
Sapperlings are mushroom creatures, and they create X number of 1/1 tokens, and they're just fun. Anyway, I interrupted you.
Oh, no worries. I actually was going to ask what they were about, actually.
Oh, yeah, no, they're tiny little mushroom creatures. They're typically 1/1s, and they swarm like nothing else. Sapperling decks will overrun the table if you do not kill them quickly.
Oh, good lord. That almost sounds like the mushroom people from Mario finally taking over the world.
Just a little bit.
Okay, actually, now that I think about it, they technically do rule the world in the Mario universe, so... Oh, shit.
Yeah, Princess Peach is Princess of the Toadstool Kingdom.
Dear God. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
if you're,
my God.
Yeah, if you're ever in the Toadstool Kingdom, run for the hills. Let me think. Alright, so if you were to create your own Planeswalker... That was the next question.
Oh, yeah. Red Sonja. Easy. She is probably one of the most badass warriors to have ever existed in comic book history. I will fight anybody who says otherwise. And I think that if Red Sonja were to suddenly find herself on a journey through the plains, it would be an interesting thing to watch. I tell you what, if Red Sonja had been present at the War of the Spark, Nicole Bolas would never have gotten even close to becoming a god.
That is true. Let me see. That really does depend on the franchise. If we're going horror, then I have 3 suggestions. Freddy Krueger, mainly because his abilities could actually be more of a manipulation type of thing and could actually weaken your deck. Jason, mainly because he'd be the only card that you couldn't destroy, but he's not gonna be entirely too strong. He's not overpowered, at least. And I think the last one would have to be Michael Myers, because I think his ability to just being able to sneak through an area without getting spotted would be pretty freaking cool.
Oh, yeah. I actually really love playing as Freddy in, Dead by Daylight. Hate playing as Michael Myers, though, just because his mechanic is so weird.
Oh, yeah, true enough. Honestly, but if we're gonna go for comic book heroes, and, that would be very interesting. I think one of them would be Black Panther, because I think his moveset would be very much attuned to the world of Planeswalker, as a Planeswalker, and not to mention, he could actually be a very good character.
I mean, Freddy basically is a Planeswalker as he is.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. So he fits more likely than anyone else that I could think of in comics, but if I'm just going to throw comic book characters in there, Black Panther definitely one, Captain America, and I think from DC, I'm going to bring in either, maybe Green Arrow and Batman. Mainly just trying to make sure that I don't bring any overpowered characters into this entire world, because if we brought Superman, well, first of all, I hate him, and second, he's just just
Superman would die.
Yeah, he would die because everything in that world is magic. So,
well, there's also no guarantee that he ends up getting the radiation from our yellow sun he needs in order to actually be Superman.
Oh yeah, that is true. Damn, didn't even think about that part. Alright, and then if we're gonna go with video game characters, I actually have a few that would work. One of them, surprisingly, would be Dante from Devil May Cry.
Dante would work. Any protagonist from Persona.
Oh yeah, any protagonist from Persona would automatically just get in. And I think the last one I would have to say, and we're just sticking with medieval style here. Darn, I'm trying to remember the name, but I just can't seem to get off the... Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yeah.
And you know
that entire gang would...
Yeah, the entire gang would fit so well into it, and not to mention, if you had, like, certain cards, like, if you had Marl or any of them, you could actually tap all 3, and you can use one of their, triple attacks.
That'd be fun.
I think it'd be a pretty interesting deck to make something out of that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. There was a set that came out about 10 years ago now called Time Spiral that was really cool. It introduced a lot of weird mechanics like Suspend, where instead of paying the mana cost for a card, you'd set it off to the side and it would stay out of the game for X number of turns and then come in and do its thing.
Nice.
And then there were a couple of other cards that would, like, reverse turns and stuff. It was very cool.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Time manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
It's not super common these days, but you do see some cards that have Suspend on them still.
Just not as many as they used to be?
No, that set introduced them, and there are a few cards that really make good use of it, but it only really gets used on really strong cards that have a high mana cost. For example, I've got one of those cards in Nekuzar here. It's called Fifthsis, and its entire thing is it costs 10 mana to cast, or you suspend it for 5 turns instead.
Okay.
And it's actually a really good card. Let me go ahead and send you a link here.
Yes, it sounds like a very balanced card. It's not so overpowered, yet it still gives you a good amount of benefits if you use it. Alright.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great card.
Ooh, alright, so here's this question. Wow, we have a lot of questions for Magic the Gathering. I'm shocked. Alright, so for Magic the Gathering, if you were given a chance to... Wait. Oh. Okay. Alright, according to this, have you ever heard of a deck that was based off a movie franchise?
I'm certain they exist, but I haven't personally heard of them.
I think the only one I know of, and I'm not even kidding about this, they call it the George A. Romero deck.
Not shocking.
Yep, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Yeah, I'm like, good lord, dude, zombies, come on. That's literally George A. Romero.
Oh yeah.
He made the modern zombie on complete accident.
Yeah, no, zombie decks can. Yeah, zombie decks can be a shit ton of fun, and I love seeing a Romero deck anytime they happen.
Actually, what do zombies normally do anyway? I don't never really saw them too often.
They don't normally do anything other than be zombies.
Basically,
it
just
depends
attack.
on what you're looking at. Because there was like, for example, in War of the Spark, there were a whole bunch of different zombies, like, that each had their own thing. But mostly zombies just be zombies unless their cards say otherwise. For example, another card I've got in Nekuzar is called Thraxamundar, and he's a legendary zombie assassin. And he's got his own cool stuff. But, you know.
So it really just does depend on on the card itself.
Oh yeah, always does.
Are there any cards that can infect other cards and somehow make them turn against their owner?
Sort of. So, Infect is a different mechanic itself that actually does exist in the game. Infect is, instead of dealing damage, this creature deals -1/-1 counters, and if a creature hits 0/0, it dies. But the other thing with that, too, is that if a creature with Infect hits a player, that player gets a poison counter. That player gets to 10 poison counters, it's game over. Anyway, so if we're looking at cards that turn creatures against their opponents, however, there are ways to do that. One of my particular favorites is a card called Volition Reigns, which is you take control of target permanent. That's it.
Wow.
If it was tapped, untap it. Now it's yours.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So you can, through spells like that, take your opponent's creatures and use them against them.
Oh, wow.
Or if you're playing Commander, take your opponent's Commander and stop them from doing a fair number of their cool thing.
Oh, Lord, that would be broken.
It's actually not. So, by and large, when your Commander dies, it's supposed to return to the command zone. But if a thing says, take control of target creature, well, now you've made yourself a target... pardon me.
No worries.
A target to the player whose Commander you've stolen. And possibly the rest of the table, too.
Oh.
So it's always a politics game, as far as taking control of command is concerned.
That makes sense. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Let's see. Alright, this question... Ow. Sweetie, it's okay. It's alright. You're right. According to this, yeah, it's my cat. She's freaking out over the lawnmower. Let me see. This question asks, Dear Retro and Rune, have you guys ever had a chance to see a deck that's based off a comic book franchise? No, I actually have not.
Not personally.
No.
I know that they exist, and some of them are actually very good. I just haven't ever seen them myself.
Yeah, for me personally as well, I've never really seen anything. Though this next question I actually have. Basically, this question is, have you ever seen a deck that was made from a Disney movie? And unfortunately, I have seen at least several.
I have one that I want to make. It's based on the Emperor's New Groove.
Really?
It is a squirrel deck. It is just squirrels.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
the one I seen was
the news that Modern Horizon has released a... Sorry.
Yeah, the one I checked out was Aladdin. And my buddy
That's not shocking.
Yeah.
Arabian Nights was a great set.
Yeah, and my buddy, he would actually do impressions of what Robin Williams.
Nice.
I'm like, good lord.
Going back to the comic book one for just a moment, I haven't seen it, but I would personally build one. In particular, I've got a card called Judith the Scourge Diva, and I would absolutely love turning that into basically like a Harley Quinn deck.
Ooh. That sounds interesting.
No, the Scourge Diva is really cool. She's got some really good abilities, and she's red-black and a shit ton of fun as far as to like actually playing with. Mm-hmm. I think if you design an entire deck around like her abilities and making her cooler, that it would be very fun.
Nice. I think if I were to create a comic book deck, I would definitely have to go with well, if I'm gonna take two from, like I said, if I'm gonna say take from my last question, I would, from one of my other questions, I would say I would bring Black Panther in. I think I'd make him a Forest Plains.
So white-green.
Yeah,
that's
white-green.
Never a bad combination.
Mm-hmm. And then I think I would make maybe Batman. I would make him Swamp and... I think maybe Swamp and Mountain.
I wouldn't make Batman black.
Well, he has.
I would make Batman blue-red.
Well, the reason why I say black is because he's faced down villains that have been in the swamp before, like oh shoot, what's his? Solomon Grundy.
Oh, Solomon Grundy's a straight-up black card. But
yeah,
I wouldn't
he's
make
straight
Batman
up black
because Batman never indulges in the evil tendencies that black mana has involved with it.
That's
true. Usually straight-up necromancy, murder. Yeah.
Yes.
No, one of the most famous black cards is just murder.
Oh yeah, you're right. So maybe you're definitely right. Not black.
But I would make Batman red-blue.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
I'd make Batman red-blue because hear me out on this. Red-blue is often stuff like Saheeli, the Gifted, who is an artificer. What is Bruce Wayne? A fucking artificer. He's a vigilante artificer hybrid class.
That is very true. Yeah. I think if anything, what about Joker?
Oh, Joker is easily white-black for me.
Oh, yeah. Plains and Swamp, yeah.
Oh, yeah. White-black because what would... you see the bits that the Joker does that mess with Bruce just really hard, and the way he does it the worst is by challenging Bruce's code.
Yeah.
Constantly.
True.
And if there's not something that's more black versus white, like trying to coexist in the same creature, I don't know what is.
I'm with you on that one. I think that would be a great one to go for. Actually, the next question that I have here actually does have that same question. What type of combinations would you think would go well with certain characters of your favorite franchises? Doesn't matter what media. Ooh, that's a really good one because, let me see. If I'm going to go with characters like, but yeah, Batman, definitely red-blue. Joker, definitely white and black. What about Lex Luthor?
Straight blue.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think that would be... Yeah, I think it'd be straight blue. I'm still thinking.
I was going to say... So, I was trying to figure out how I would do Red Sonja, because obviously, red's in the name. She is a warrior maiden. Like, red wouldn't be a bad color for her, but white wouldn't be a bad one for her either. Maybe a combination of the two, because red-white is a thing.
That is true. I think that actually could go very well as red-white, yeah. Let me see. What others would I actually see going well here? Alright, let's go into video game territory. What about... what about Mario?
Ridley's straight up red-black.
Wait, who?
Ridley?
Oh, yeah, definitely red-black. What about...
What did you say?
What about Mario?
Mario's straight white.
Really? I honestly thought he would have been red. Like a red-white combo.
Because red implies, like... Red implies, like, a certain impulsiveness. Like, goblins, kobolds. Those would be red cards.
Oh, yeah, good point. Shoot, I didn't even think about that. What about Captain Falcon?
I mean, the asshole in me is like red, white, and blue, baby. But I don't know. Oh shoot, my doorbell's ringing. Give me a sec. I gotta go check that.
No worries. Honestly, that's really interesting, though. I don't know what type of combination would work very well with that one. But let me think. All right, if I'm gonna go with maybe Master Chief from Halo, I think his particular combo would stick more with Forest and Island, but that's just me though. I have to save this one for him because I think he might enjoy the selection I have for him. But we're gonna skip that one for now. Until he gets back. Another character I definitely would have to say, Doctor Strange, I think would be Plains and Island. And the reason why is that he almost kind of reminds me of Dovin, Architect of Law, and I think Dr. Fate would go in the same category of this guy right here. So, yeah, in this particular case, yeah. All right, what do you think about Handsome Jack from Borderlands?
Oh, that's actually a tough one. Just because Handsome Jack is tragic.
Yeah, it's really tragic. I really don't know which one.
Because my new chair showed up today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I gotta move some stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but Handsome Jack is hard for me to classify, honestly, just because I love him very much as a character.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's my favorite. Like, he's my favorite kind of villain, the hero turned bad guy.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I really don't know what his combo would be. I definitely know Black would definitely be one of them. But I don't know whether...
I would agree with that plan.
I don't know whether I should add maybe 2 other lands or just stick with just one more. Because I think he has a little bit of red and as well as a little bit of blue on him.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And he's not above dirty tactics, the kind of which are often associated with Black.
Yeah, so honestly, I think red, blue, and black would be his combo, I think. Just feel like, because even though he does a lot of evil deeds, and trust me, he does a lot, he is trying to fix Pandora for what it's worth.
What he perceives to be broken.
Yeah.
But I don't think Pandora's broken. The last thing it needed was Handsome Jack showing up, big dick swinging, pretending that he's all law and order when he's no better than the rest of the megacorps.
Pretty much, yeah. Let me see.
But I don't know. Anthony Birch is also just kind of a fantastic writer. Speaking of, did you know that he currently hosts a Dungeons & Dragons podcast called Dungeons & Daddies?
Really?
Yeah, the writer for Borderlands 2 currently hosts a Dungeons & Dragons podcast.
Oh, that is awesome.
And it's so fun. So it's about 4 dads who get sucked into the Forgotten Realms on a journey to go and rescue their sons.
Oh, no.
You've got Daryl Wilson, Ron Stampler, like your stay-at-home coach dad, Ron Stampler, the emotionally detached stepfather. You got Henry Oak, your granola-crunching, Birkenstock-rocking hippie dad, and Glenn Close, the party dad. And they're so fun. The another name that you might know that's associated with this project is Freddie Wong, otherwise known as the creator of Rocket Jump and Video Game High School.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays Glenn Close and also does like the sound engineering for the crew and everything. But it's so much fun.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm messing with my new chair. I'm putting that together here on camera. Because why not?
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, no, it's a really fun show.
Man, I really should try doing something like that, because we do D&D every Monday from 4 to 7, And I've come up with some pretty interesting ones, from a murder mystery to the characters being thrown into a war. So I'm already trying to figure out a few more stories. I heard that Ry-Guy is going to be taking over for this DM this time, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Ry's basically set up, but he had a bit of an anxiety and chose not to host this week. Yeah. I love the guy. I was really looking forward to it because I did something I was never going to do, and I built a character in 5th edition. Nice. I hate 5th edition.
Really?
Character creation just feels so lackluster in it. Oh, yeah. No, I've spent my entire tabletop gaming career playing Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons, like 3.5, and Starfinder, and a few other games that are like that. I love the detail that goes into character creation there. D&D 5e feels empty in comparison to me.
I can see that. But I also see that it can be useful for newer players.
Oh, yeah. No, so there's actually a bit of a joke with that, and a lot of folks think it's mean, but it's really not. It's meant in good faith. A lot of us refer to 5e as Babby's first D&D.
Yeah, I could see that.
I've had a couple of folks get upset with me for calling it that, and I'm like, I don't mean anything by it, buddy. It's just I'm used to games with a little bit more, rules.
True. Let me think. Alright, so we're going to go on to the next question. This one is... Oh. Okay. This person asks, is there types of decks that deal with, are there types of decks that deal with time manipulation, or does it have to be a specific card that normally uses that type of ability, if it does exist? I wanted to know because I wanted to try to create almost like a time wizard deck for myself, so I can mess with everybody's decks and manipulate how the turns work.
So that is always going to be specific to cards. However, I imagine that there are ways to do it. I would start by looking at Architect, like I mentioned earlier. You can, or you can go to Scryfall, and you can search for cards that have kind of what you're looking for there by using their awesome search function. And doing that, you can start to build a deck around whatever concept you like. For example, my Chaos deck. I just went onto Scryfall and typed Chaos and immediately had like 6 or 7 different suggestions for what to do.
You heard them.
There's also EDHREC.com I also wholeheartedly recommend, because if you go to EDHREC.com and you have a particular commander in mind, you can find, what it'll do is it'll show you decks that have been built using that commander, or like the most commonly used with that cards that commander will often be run with.
Oh.
So it's a really great way to get suggestions. I would never straight up build a deck from EDHREC, but I would absolutely recommend it as a resource to, get some idea.
Ooh, that sounds good. Well, you heard them, folks. Gotta check out Architect, because...
Architect and EDHREC.
Alright, sounds good. Alright, so remember that, okay, buddy? Because, trust me, compared to me, he's the expert. If you want to ask some of these complex questions, go to him. Because I'm still a little rusty.
Yeah, no, I'll be straight up with you. My friends are significantly better as far as raw skill than me. I have a good understanding of the general mechanics of the game, and I'm happy to go ahead and pass on that knowledge to anybody who wants it.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Yep, I can hear you. Alright, I have no idea what happened there.
Yeah, I just glitched there. But yeah, seriously though, guys, if you guys have any more questions, and if we ever decide to have him back on the show, which I'm hoping that will be soon.
I'm hoping so too. I liked doing this.
Oh yeah, because I will definitely I will gather more questions. If you guys want to ask them, I will personally ask him. All right, another question we got for Magic the Gathering, and okay, this is interesting. Have you ever seen any unusual combinations that you would think would never work, yet somehow do? Okay.
So one of my best friends a specialist at exactly that.
Really?
He's got a couple of decks that do, like, really off-the-wall things. Like, I'm sorry, you make food and your food does what?
Wait, what?
So one of my buddies has a commander called Guillaume, the master chef, or something along those lines. And Guillaume is neat because whenever it makes a food token if you've summoned a creature, and if you sacrifice a food token, target creature becomes indestructible until the end of turn.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Guillaume is nasty. I do not like playing against Guillaume, but it's such an off-the-wall deck that you're like, wait, how?
Whoa. Oh my god, that is awesome.
It is a really cool deck. I love playing with my friends because they just come up with some really off-the-wall stuff. In particular, the reason why I love playing with Ben is because that man comes up with decks that cost less than $30 typically, at 100 cards, and just makes them work because he's just got that level of raw skill.
Damn. Honestly, if we ever do some sort of Magic the Gathering tournament, we should definitely do that. I think that'd be pretty fun. Oh, man. Okay, here's another question. Have you ever been to any Magic the Gathering tournaments before? I personally have not.
I have. When War of the Spark opens up a box, each player gets a number of booster packs. Usually in Friday Night Magic for about the last 3
I've never done any tournaments when it comes to Magic the Gathering, but I've done tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, and I've actually won a few during my time in California, but I never won any in Washington yet. I'm hoping to at least get a win there, and I think that'd be pretty interesting though, but I've never done an actual Magic the Gathering tournament. Maybe I might do one of these days. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of really cool places around here to do it, and Dragon Parlor is actually not a bad resource for finding out when the next ones are coming up.
Nice. Alright, remember, check out Dragon's Parlor. Alright, here's another question, and this one is actually, pretty interesting. My cousin has been wondering about getting into Magic the Gathering, but unfortunately he's tried every single type of land, and so far nothing seems to fit him well. Are there any decks that you would recommend for beginners that would actually work very well for his type of playstyle? He's very simple and would rather just get straight into the point rather than dealing with all sorts of complicated stuff.
Goblins. Goblins, goblins, goblins. This is a man who just wants to get monsters on the field and get them rolling as fast as possible, and for that, you want mono red aggro. It's actually very easy to put together a goblin deck that'll suit your needs, fairly inexpensive, absolutely worth it, because nothing is more satisfying than saying, alright, I declare combat, and, buddy, that's gonna be 42 2/2 goblins coming your way.
Oh my god. Hey kid,
Yeah,
I hope you're hearing...
ramp fast.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah, kid, if you're watching this, you got to get your hands on it, dude. Just get a goblin aggro deck. Because after what he just said there about having 42 goblins hit you, then good lord, good luck with that. Yeah, and also, please don't hurt me. I'm kidding. Alright. Okay, here's another question that is, this is actually another question for decks. I use a green deck most of the time. I don't normally play other types of lands at all because for some reason I have the worst luck with them. But I also want to explore my horizons and try new decks and strategies. Are there any that could combine with forests for the most efficient but still entertaining deck that you can think of?
Most Simic decks are ones I would go with, and Simic in this case is blue-green. Blue-green decks are almost always interesting because they have a lot that deals with creatures, making them bigger, maybe getting some interesting-looking creatures, and messing with, like, how they function and things along those lines. They have a lot of really high, great potential as far as what you can do with them, too, because blue's got a lot that you can do with it, and green's got a lot you can do with it.
Oh, okay. Alright, so basically go for a green-blue deck, right?
Yep, I would absolutely recommend blue-green or green-blue. It doesn't really matter. A lot of the times, as far as that's concerned, like, you'll say whichever one your primary color identity is, but, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But, no, like, I would absolutely recommend a blue-green deck, especially if you like the creature use that you get out of blue, or not blue-green in particular. If you like monsters, but you want them bigger, blue-green is always a good way to go.
Alright, that sounds good. Alright. Okay, this is another interesting question. If you were going to choose your favorite movie villain to be in Magic the Gathering, what would you make him, such as being a creature, artifact, spell, or planeswalker, or whatever? That's one. Two, would he be powerful enough to be a commander, or would he just be an average character? And three, what would be his signature lands that he be associated with?
See, I don't really ever know how to answer this particular kind of question.
Yeah,
the reason being is because it's just so... Well, yeah, there's just so much, you know?
True.
But if I had to put one of my favorite villains in... Well, I can't really do that because my favorite villain in film history comes from Baby Driver.
Really?
And... Oh, yeah, no. Baby Driver is one of the best movies that's ever been made. I will fight anybody who argues with me on that. But,
good lord. There are plenty of movies that are better than Baby Driver.
Oh, son, don't even get started with me, please. Anyway, back to the question at hand, though. Who would I put in?
That would be really tough for me, though, honestly, because there's quite a few villains I know of that actually could fit very well in the world of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, no, that's actually a tough one, especially because the one that I might have picked has already been done in a way, because there are eldritch monsters known as Eldrazi in Magic.
Oh, I've heard of those.
They're basically like Shoggoths and... What's that?
Yeah, I've heard of those. I've heard of the Eldrazi. I've seen a few of their cards before.
Oh yeah, no, the Eldrazi are literally cosmic horrors. They're... But as far as, like, who I would put in...
That's a tough one because, good God, there's so many freaking villains you could choose from. It's actually kind of insane.
Oh yeah, no, that's why this one's actually difficult. Ooh.
Like,
Ultron wouldn't be a terrible one.
Ultron would
He'd actually be kind of fun.
Thanos would be pretty interesting if you know what you're doing.
I don't see a way to design Thanos as a Magic the Gathering card without kind of, like, hindering his whole, like, Mad Titan deal.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that wouldn't necessarily work. Let me see. Doomsday wouldn't work. Because, well, that's just plain...
Doomsday would be fun. Lady Death would be good.
Ooh, Lady Death would be good too, yeah. Darkseid would be too overpowered. He would literally break the game just by being in the field.
It depends on how you design him. It depends on how you design the card.
I think the only thing that could be pretty interesting is, like, say if he were to be taken over by someone and was brought to someone else's field, then he would automatically activate his ability, which wipes everything off the field, and including himself. Because technically, according to the lore for Darkseid, he cannot exist outside of his own universe. Because if he does, he could literally wipe the entire universe out of existence just by him being there.
On accident.
Yeah, on accident, which he actually did kind of do once. Don't ask me why and how, but let's just say that one moment he got sucked into the DC universe, and then it was just like, poof, gone. I don't know how that works, but well, it's comic book science. It's what you have to expect.
It doesn't actually work, but it doesn't have to.
Exactly.
Oh, speaking of comic books, my guy, have you checked out the Boys?
Wait, the what?
The Boys.
I've heard of them. I never got a chance to read it yet.
So good. So I watched the first couple of episodes last night with my wife, and it was exceptionally good.
Really?
I usually don't get sucked into television very easily, but this show just did it for me. Like,
wow.
It's got everything that I want in a first episode of a superhero show, including this is what superheroes would actually be like in a capitalist hellscape.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like a huge thing. And it gets into some serious subject matter, so it's not something I'd recommend for the kiddos, but it is so good.
Alright, I'll have to check it out. Actually, have you ever heard of the show Invincible? I've heard a lot of people say it's good.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of memes from the television show itself, but I've not actually watched it personally. I have heard that it's at the very least entertaining, and it's currently got my favorite meme of the moment, which is "Think X, think."
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing that meme everywhere. I think it's because that a lot of people personally like how basically it's like, what if Superman decided to become a huge dick and decide to wipe out everyone in his team?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also if they didn't follow Batman's procedure to kill him.
Yep.
Honestly, it's definitely interesting to see the least,
it is actually pretty good, though.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that would be pretty interesting. Oh! I think I just figured out a villain I would go for making a card.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and the character I actually would choose is Chucky from Child's Play.
Yeah, I could see it.
Because his ability that he has a new ability now that allows him to possess other people while still retaining his original form.
Yeah.
So, what if, like, say, if you can create your own Chucky
tokens? Did you see
tokens?
the new Child's Play?
I saw the original Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. Saw Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, which is absolutely stupid. And I also saw the Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and the new Child's Play movie.
Dude, the new Child's Play was surprisingly good. I was not expecting that to be as fun as it was.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked that Mark Hamill was the voice of Chucky this time around.
Yeah.
I almost kind of miss Brad Dourif, though, but for what he did for the performance, he actually did pretty good at being creepy as hell. Though, again, this is the guy who voiced the Joker.
Brad Dourif was exquisite. Yeah, no, I mean, Mark Hamill voicing anything is enough to get me happy, but, you know.
True enough. But yeah.
I mean, I'm just a big fan. There's actually a television show that I watch called What We Do in the Shadows, and he's got a bit part in a couple of episodes, and they're so good. It's just so good.
Nice. Yeah, let me see. Okay, let me look at the next question. Okay. Oh,
Alright.
Okay, according to this, if you created your own Planeswalker, and like say if you were making a story, what would you actually choose his voice to be?
Like if I were to choose a voice actor for a Planeswalker?
Yeah.
Well, I recently found this actress's name, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. But it was a gal I wanted to play Red Sonja. Oh, shoot. Why can't I remember? You know, I don't rightly know. I do know that Mark Hamill is a personal favorite voice actor of mine, but, I mean, you know.
I think if I were to do any voice actors, and we're also, and according to this, he's saying dead or alive doesn't matter. So I think if that's the case, I think if I were to do like maybe if I were to use Dovin here, Architect of Law, And I would love to see him being voiced by Vincent Price.
That'd be cool.
Oh, Lord. He has done wizard characters before. That's the reason why. Huh?
Depending on who I'm doing, because I would love to see Alan Rickman do the voice of Tezzeret.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a really good choice.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that.
That's an existing Planeswalker. If I've created my own and must pick a voice for my own personal Planeswalker, if I'm thinking about Red Sonja, I want the gal who played Xena, Warrior Princess, to do Red Sonja's voice.
Yes, I don't remember her name, and I know she was married at one point to Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
I just don't remember her name. Damn it!
I don't either. And my wife's napping, otherwise I'd ask her, because she always knows the answers to these.
Sam Raimi. Oh, here it is. Hold on. There we go. Give me a second. I'm going to look it up. Spouse, Gillian Green.
No, not her.
Oh, damn it. Yes, I'm looking through Wikipedia, but I just want to make sure I'm double checking this right.
Let me see if I can't find her, because I know she's in my list somewhere.
Let me see. Raimi has been married since 1993 to Gillian Green, daughter of actor Lorne Green.
Not her either. Give me a second, I'll find it.
No, wait, that Lorne Green's... Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Now I remember his name. Yes, I watched Battlestar Galactica. I watched that once before. Don't remember any of the other stuff here. That's weird. But yeah, it's really weird. It doesn't say who he's, yeah, that's really weird. I'm shocked. Oh, hold on. Maybe I should look up Xena Warrior Princess, maybe. Hang on. Xena Warrior... Ah, here we go. Let's see. Lucy Lawless, right?
Yes, her!
There you go. Yeah, all right. I could see that working very well with that.
Lucy Lawless
Yeah.
should be the voice of Red Sonja.
Oh yeah, I could definitely.
I'm personally advocating that Lucy Lawless just be Red Sonja.
Yeah, I could see her doing the role very well. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, no, she would be so good at it.
True. All right. We'll have one more question before we end today's episode, and let me see. I have been a big fan of comedians, and I honestly thought it would be pretty interesting to see what comedian would you guys like to see be introduced into the world of Magic the Gathering, since Walking Dead has already gotten new characters in the franchise already. So since now characters from the real world can somehow end up here, why not real world actors and comedians, that sort of stuff? Personally, my personal pick would be Robin Williams. So I'm guessing
him and Richard Cheese for me.
Oh yeah, definitely Robin Williams, and I think the other one would be Gene Wilder. Because I think those two actually. Because remember, he was young. Gene Wilder was young Frankenstein at one point.
Yes, he was.
And he's done a lot of amazing roles. And, of course, Willy Wonka, where he's that batshit insane in that whole tunnel of whatever the hell that was.
Man, that tunnel scene, a lot of folks say is like the scariest thing of all time. And I just hard disagree, because it's not that scary if you're like is stuck in that sense of childlike wonder, you know?
True. For me, it was more confusing more than anything else, because it's like, wait, what is with all these images? What's going on? It was more confusing for me as a kid. Hell, I think there was actually scarier images on Courage the Cowardly Dog more than that movie ever did.
Oh, I would 100% agree with you on that. Courage the Cowardly Dog was downright terrifying.
I loved the show when I was a kid.
Same. Such a good show.
Oh my god. We actually did an episode of this a while back where we actually reviewed Courage the Cowardly Dog, and good God, I just loved every single aspect of the show. And I'm still going to praise the hell out of the show, and I'm still going to be pissed they canceled the living daylights out of that show.
Yeah, I will always and forever be upset about that myself. But Courage the Cowardly Dog definitely got a good run.
True.
And it, I feel, was just, it was before its time, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I think right now it would fit so well with what's going on now.
Oh, I 100% agree with this.
Yeah, because we have shows like Gravity Falls, we have Adventure Time, we have Regular Show, we have all those shows, including Rick and Morty, which go completely batshit insane imagery. Courage the Cowardly Dog would fit so well now.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I want to thank RunePhantom. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And seriously, guys.
Hey, no problem, buddy.
Yeah, seriously, guys, if you ever get a chance, please check out his Twitch channel. He does streams whenever he can get a chance. He's done some awesome stuff with us as well. We've done Zombie Army 4 Dead War. And he does a lot of RuneScape and other games that, personally, I wish I could do as well. But, unfortunately, I don't have that many games like RuneScape. I didn't even know that that game was available until just recently. So, yeah, I'm really going to have to try to go back to that one. So, yeah.
Hey, if you get started, let me know. I'll hang out with you.
Oh, yeah, that sounds awesome. Also, if you guys have any questions about RuneScape or Magic the Gathering or whatnot, go on to his stream and ask him those questions. I bet he'd be happy to answer them.
Yep. My streams are Ask Me Anything every time because I just like talking to people. So, bring your happy behind my way and we'll talk about whatever the heck you like.
All right, so.
As far as, my actual schedule, I actually do have a quick update about that, is that I'm going to start doing, I think, weekday morning streams for at least a couple hours every day. So that's going to be Pacific time from about 8 to 10.
Nice. That sounds awesome. And, of course, if you guys want to check out for future episodes, just take a look at my YouTube channels, where, my YouTube Mr. Retroactive live streams, where we have the entire list of episodes we've done on the channel, including every episode of Retroactive's Corner. We've already done over 10 episodes right now, and the show is still doing pretty good, in my personal opinion. I'm very happy that it's going well. So if you guys want more content, please check it out on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. It's all there. And one more thing before we go is that we normally have our guest star choose the next game of our choice. Mr. Behavior wasn't able to do it for us this week, but we did have one of my got into this one. So, buddy, it is your call. What do you want the next Retroactives review to be?
Well, I just finished this game, and for me, it is a solid 10 out of 10. Or by your standards there, a straight 50. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, I've been waiting to do a review on that, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
yes.
I finished it last night, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but I tell you what, at the end, I cried.
Oh, Jesus, wow. Alright. Well...
Oh yeah, no, it is such a good game.
Did you want to do a review on that one, actually?
Yeah, I'll join you for that, but no,
Alright, so that means I know
no,
what
I
I'm
think
gonna
that you guys should do that for your...
Well, I guess I know what I'm gonna be purchasing soon. Ghost of Tsushima! And honestly, I'm really excited.
And here's the thing, Retro. I will not judge you harshly if you do not play it in Samurai Cinema, but I will secretly be judging you slightly.
Wait.
So the thing about this game, and this was me personally, you can play it entirely in Japanese or English. Play it in Japanese. Just do yourself a favor. Not that the English voice acting is bad. I still haven't even actually heard it. But it's a samurai movie.
True.
Why would you want that in English?
That's true. I think I'm going to do 2 playthroughs if I do play this game, and I'm going to do one in Japanese, one in English. That way I have a comparison between the two.
Fair enough. But it is such a good game. I cannot wait to hear what you think.
Oh, man, I can't wait either. So, still, thank you all so much for joining me. And RunePhantom, do you have any final words for everybody before signing off?
I've got final words for everybody every time I sign off there, my guy. So when I sign off, I like to do like a little positive thinking thing every single time because you know what? You deserve to be kind to yourself. So what I want for anybody who's listening to do is like that one famous TikToker, drop any tension you've got in the neck, really, like relax the shoulders, unclench your jaw, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and think to yourself, I've got this.
Nice.
You'll have a good night.
All right, sounds good. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you all next time. And this is Mr. Retroactive signing out.